Yeah, the Death Troopers, I mean, it's no secret, and it's probably sacrilegious to say this as a Star Wars director, but the Stormtroopers don't normally have a very good aim. They're not that good at firing weapons and hitting the target, typically in Star Wars, and we wanted to have a threat within our film that was you could take seriously and feel like they're going to kill you if they get you.
Lo que me tocó ver, aprender, y en esta me tocó aprender muchísimo. Le agradezco mucho a Gareth y que me haya subido en esto, que no sé, que me haya abierto este espacio. No la vi venir, la verdad. O sea,
well, I'm very lucky. I get lovely fan mail from fans, and it's amazing that comes from all over the world. So it's quite extraordinary because you feel connected through Star Wars to all these people across continents. So I genuinely appreciate it, and also, you know, it's a magical opportunity to be part of something like this, and it has such history, as you say.
To make Star Wars, it's not about making everything science fiction and futuristic. It's actually much more of a historical event, and to steal from the past and the imagery of the past. And so one of the experiments we did early on is we got photography, like war photography, from Vietnam, the South Pacific, you know, and even like the Middle East, and we changed the people in it, and in Photoshop changed them to be rebel soldiers and stormtroopers, and suddenly it looked really real and engaging, and we presented that to Kathy Kennedy, and she got very excited about it, and it felt like we were just basically, because we're a standalone film, we don't have to do what the sagas do, and in all the meetings we'd go to, the studio would pretty much say, so how is this different? How is this film going to be different? And we were pretty much given a license and encouraged to be as different as possible, and I'm very glad that I got to do the standalone movie because it gave us a lot of creative freedom, and stylistically, from a directing point of view, we got to make a version of Star Wars that, you know, back in the back of your head, I've always wanted to see. So yeah, it was a slow process, but you know, it is called Star Wars, so it's kind of, the clue is in the title. It kind of encourages you to do it a bit.
el cine no se trata de pasaportes ni de nacionalidades. De hecho, creo que lo que menos había en el set eran estadounidenses. Filmamos en Inglaterra, el director es inglés, el cast tiene esa diversidad. El cine, de hecho, vive de la riqueza que trae la diversidad, ¿no? Mientras gente más disímil se junte a contar una historia, más la terminará enriqueciendo. Y yo sí creo que lo que me parece importante es que Star Wars establezca un paralelo con el mundo en el que vivimos hoy, un mundo que está plagado de esta diversidad, ¿no? Y que eso se vea en el cine, pues hará que la película viaje mejor, que la película tenga más eco con el público alrededor del mundo, ¿no? Ya en términos personales, no sé, no sé qué signifique. Yo creo que hay que ser bien cuidadosos cuando hablamos de Estados Unidos, porque hay muchos Estados Unidos, no puedes generalizar, ¿no? Yo tengo muchos amigos, mucha gente que quiero, mucha familia incluso del otro lado, que nos conoce mucho mejor de lo que creemos, ¿no? Y no hay que olvidarnos de que ellos también están ahí, ¿no? Y te digo, la película sí manda un mensaje muy claro. Los héroes son de carne y hueso, ¿no? Los héroes son como nosotros. Es gente que entiende que trabajando en equipo es capaz de hacer cosas increíbles. Y eso te digo, es un mensaje pertinente no solo para Estados Unidos, para el mundo entero, porque el mundo entero se está volviendo loco. Lo que pasó en Estados Unidos es solo una muestra más de lo que está pasando, y es global. Y se trata, esta película habla de eso, habla de gente que se involucra y que decide ser parte del cambio y arriesgarlo todo por un bien común, ¿no? Y eso, te digo, es pertinente que lo escuchemos en todo el mundo. A veces sí me daba pánico de repente sentir que todo eso estaba ahí para que tú hicieras bien tu trabajo, ¿no? No había espacio para el error y de alguna forma la complicidad que generamos, donde en el equipo incluyo a Allen, que estuvo ahí también desde el principio, apaciguaba, ¿no? Te tranquilizaba muchísimo saber que había alguien enfrente que estaba sintiendo lo mismo, porque no es como que ninguno de los que estamos aquí llevemos 25 películas de este tamaño y hagamos ¿no? puros blockbusters de superhéroes. No, si revisas la filmografía de Felicity, es un cine muy intimista, muy de personajes, ¿no? Y ese es el cine, pues no solo que yo hago, sino que además me gusta ver. Entonces, de repente, acompañarte por alguien que suena tan cercano era indispensable para no volverse loco en ese set, ¿no? Y me acuerdo el primer día de llamado, estábamos en Jordania y nos subimos a una camioneta como no sé cuántos minutos hacia adentro del desierto para filmar la primera escena que hacíamos.
Sí.
Y era como, no sé cuánto, como 30 minutos en camioneta hacia adentro en el desierto, en medio de la nada. Pasamos la escena más sencilla de la película, la ensayamos como si fuera Shakespeare, le dimos vueltas y vueltas sin parar de ensayar obsesivamente, y eso se sintió increíble. De repente dije, ay cabrón, estoy acompañado de alguien que es del mundo en el que yo vivo, ¿no? Me hacía sentir, me daba mucha calma eso.
Thanks, Casey. At first I thought you were going to say you were paralyzed by my great talent. I was like, wow, that's cool. I think there was just we have a very, very similar approach. I think all three of us, we don't like too much BS. I don't know if I can't swear, so it's like. So we're all straightforward. We all put our hearts and our souls into our work. We take it seriously, but we also like to have a sense of humour about it, and we realise that it's such an opportunity to do what we're doing. And you know, you get to know each other really well. They're very long days, they're long hours, but there was definitely a complicity of kind of intention and spirit and a care for filmmaking and making films that we all believe in. And I think that's at the root of why we're all here.
Agradezco inmensamente a Gareth, que está sentado aquí, que es el culpable de que yo esté sentado aquí y no ahí, porque la verdad estaría del otro lado, porque soy público de estas películas y es un gran regalo poder pasarme del otro lado y ser parte de un universo con el que llevo jugando toda mi vida, y eso se lo debo a él. Y agradecerle a Felicity todo el cariño y como el compañerismo que no se perdió 7 meses de rodaje y que nos tiene aquí contentos hablando de una película. Normalmente uno a estas cosas ya llega harto y ya sin hablarse, sin voltearse a ver, como esperando que pase lo más rápido. Y este es al revés, ha sido una reunión bien bonita. Reencontrarnos después de este viaje ha sido muy bonito y todo se lo debemos a ese señor.
I actually didn't realize Diego was Mexican until yesterday. I've never heard him speak Spanish in my life. It's very good. Yeah. Did you learn that in America?
You're actually from London, aren't you? No, we hope you love the film, and it really, we hope that it will be an immersive experience, and that you're actually there with this band of rebels in the thick of it.
someone was asking earlier, like, what's it like with all the weight of the fans' expectations, and you know, it's going to be a lifelong commitment and stuff. And I think we've stayed in a little bubble for the last year and a half or 2 years, whatever it's been, on purpose, because we didn't want to put that pressure on ourselves. We wanted to make a kind of passion project version of Star Wars. And for me, it hit me for the first time. I mean, when we did Celebration, which is a big Star Wars event in London, they played the trailer for the first time on the big screen. And what they normally like to do is they take the actors and the director and stuff, and they take them backstage, and then they show the trailer. And you never actually get to see it. You never see the audience reaction. And I was like, I don't want to go backstage. I don't want to go backstage. When the trailer comes on, let's go to the front and watch it. And so me and a couple of other people from Lucasfilm, I think Kathy and Kiri, went down the front. You guys went around the back. And we watched the trailer. We're like, oh, that's really cool. There's a big cheer from the crowd. And then the lights went up, and like 1,000 people came over. And they were suddenly surrounded by all these fans. And this girl came up, and she had the perfect, like an amazing costume of Jin. And it was so perfect that I actually just instinctively went up to her and went, hey! And went to hug her, like thinking it was you kind of thing in my brain. And she went, whoa, hang on, wait a minute. I don't know you, you're a complete stranger, what am I doing? And it's really strange when you've owned or like been living with something for so long that's so personal to you, and then you walk into the shops and you just see it on the shelf, or some boxer shorts, or you know, toys and t-shirts and things. It's an incredibly surreal experience, and I think I know I'll never be in this situation again where there's this much anticipation and love, you know, ahead of a film coming out. It's a pretty remarkable thing, and it speaks a lot to how amazing the original films were and how big an impact they had on the whole world. And so I'm just, you don't get given Star Wars, you sort of borrow it, and then you give it back to the world, and I feel like we're about to give it back to everyone, and I hope you all like what we've done with it. So, thank you.
Gracias.